Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I just want to thank everybody for being here. When I think about what the VFW does for this country, it's really it's double service, at least double service. So all of you have served our nation, and then you take the time to then do what you're doing now. You advocate for our veterans. So I can't think of another group that does that kind of double service. So I think all of you just deserve a round of applause for what you do. So I'm going to start that right now. I want to follow my friend Senator Tillis's lead, asking, we don't have as big a population as North Carolina and Alaska, but I know there's probably some Alaskan vets out there. Any Alaskan vets who want to stand up and be recognized in the back there? All right. And then how about anyone who's actually served in Alaska? If you just want to raise your hand, I know we have a lot of that. There we go. Thank you. So I like to brag on this committee. We have more vets per capita in Alaska than any state in the country. We might not be as much population, but we sure got a lot of vets. So I love being on this committee. The other thing that's great about this committee, as you probably see, is very bipartisan. And I think there's no more important bipartisan work than to take care of the people who've served our country so well over decades. So I wanted to just start by mentioning a trip I had asked Undersecretary Shulkin before he got confirmed, or after his confirmation, to come on up to Alaska and hear from our veterans. We held a number of town hall meetings that he could just hear from us. One of the things that I think shocked him, it shocked me, and we really need to focus on. It might seem like a minuscule issue, but if any of you are having a problem with it, I certainly want to offer my office's help, the VA's help. What we saw up there, which was remarkable, we heard a number of stories where veterans had gone to the VA, got permission from the VA to have some kind of medical procedure or a surgery, then went to a provider to get that procedure done. Then there was no payment from the VA, and guess who started getting bills and collection agencies calling them? The veteran. It was unbelievable. So I saw this, the Undersecretary of the VA saw this in Alaska. So I just want to mention to all of you, if you have seen this, there's a 1-800 number that the VA has, and I can give it to you right now if you need it. Or if you're really having problems, even if you're not from Alaska, you call my office, because we have been dogging the VA on this issue. It is outrageous. If you're a veteran and you have a collection agency calling you, which is very stressful, because the VA is not paying the bills that it approved you to go have a medical procedure on. So my office's number in Anchorage, 907-271-5915. If you're having a problem with that, call us. The 800 number is 877-881-7618. And believe me, I've seen so many veterans in Alaska, just Alaska, that have this problem. And it needs to stop. In the last hearing we had, the Secretary, Undersecretary Shulkin said they were going to put an end to it. So hopefully they put an end to it. Let me ask another question. And this is just, I was just home yesterday and met with the legislator, a state legislator, fellow Marine friend of mine, who had put forward a resolution in the Alaska State Legislature to look at trying to change the name of PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, to post-traumatic stress injury. And I'm just wondering if any of you heard an idea like this, or if you have any thoughts on it. This is something I told him I'd look at the federal level, but I certainly would want your view. Obviously, disorder carries with it a certain connotation versus an injury, which is what this really is, an injury that you obtained in the service of your nation. Commander, any?
I think you could support that. But, Mr. Menard?
Thank you. This idea comes up from time to time. The name is actually established by the American Psychiatric Association, and it's DSM 4 or 5, whatever the current version is. It's changing it in the VA rating schedule, changing how it appears on, you know, the diagnosis the doctors make. It doesn't change what it is. It was, back in the days of World War II and Korea and even Vietnam, a poorly understood problem. It wasn't until the late 70s that the American Psychiatric Association finally recognized it as a discrete problem, and VA began at that point to acknowledge it and grant service connection for it. It is changing the name of it as a Band-Aid. It doesn't change what it is or how it should be treated or how approached within the VA. So we don't agree that the name needs to be changed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.